As levels of stress rise around the globe due to the COVID-19 pandemic, it can be hard to find solace at home. If you're a student like me, then you know how stressful it can be to juggle all your schoolwork, and it can be difficult to find a time to relax, especially because everyone is confined to the house. A creative way to relieve this stress is arts and crafts, such as painting and drawing. Studies show it only takes 45 minutes to lower levels of cortisol in all ages. Cortisol is the body's stress hormone and is regulated by the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and adrenal gland. My capstone is about how art therapy is the best method to ease anxiety because you can relax while creatively expressing yourself. Not only is art a beneficial way to take your mind off problems, but it is inexpensive and effective. For my capstone project, I will be highlighting the effects and benefits of art therapy. My documentary will include interview sessions with family members who have experienced art therapy for themselves. Then I will try a few sessions with a few subjects, including myself, my mother, who juggles being a full-time mom and works full-time as head of internal audit at a software company in Silicon Valley, and Alyssa, my aunt. Parts of the painting sessions will be filmed. Now I will explain some of the scientific evidence behind art therapy.
Cortisol is the body's stress hormone. It triggers your fight or flight instinct and gives you a natural burst of energy which fuels your muscles to respond during a threatening situation. Although small amounts are healthy, too much can lead to a plethora of illnesses and ailments. The diagram shows the cycle that is followed to produce cortisol. The hypothalamus and pituitary glands sense if your blood has the right amount of cortisol. If the levels are too low, they will release more. If your body has too much cortisol, it can lead to things such as anxiety, depression, heart disease, digestion problems, and more. Studies show that just 45 minutes of any art, whether it be painting or simply coloring, will lower your cortisol levels. Engaging in creative activities can contribute towards relieving depression and pain, not only because it is relaxing, but because it is a way of self-expression. It is because of this that art has saved many lives and has been a way to help people mentally heal during times of trauma, such as chemotherapy. It has also been known to help those with body dissatisfaction because it gives them a chance to explore themselves and their feelings without having to worry about the outcome. To add on, it also is a very affordable treatment. I personally only spend about $85 for all my supplies, including paintbrushes, canvases, palettes, and a few other things, whereas if you hired a therapist, it could cost from $100 to $300 just for one session. The difference between cortisol and serotonin is that cortisol is a stress hormone and serotonin is a chemical produced by nerve cells. Serotonin, rather than stress, can cause depression because it regulates your mood. Art impacts your brainwaves and nervous system. It can sometimes raise your serotonin levels, which makes you happier. Lower serotonin levels can lead to depression. When you look at an artist's piece of artwork, you are potentially firing the same neurons the artist did when they made it, which creates new neural pathways in your brain and stimulates inspiration. Studies showed that artists experience less feelings of loneliness and depression than the general population. Art can change a person's outlook on life and how they see the world. Professor Semir Zeki, chair in neuroaesthetics at University College London, conducted an experiment where participants would look at various paintings from famous artists, and after 30, they underwent a brain scan. It showed that when they looked at art they considered most beautiful, the blood flow around the pleasure center of their brain increased by 10%, which is the same as looking at a loved one.
What prompted you to seek out art therapy, in particular painting?
First of all, the circumstances of COVID-19 where we're sheltering in place at home, that in and of itself is very stressful. And then also we have a family member who is going through a stressful time, and I think that's really a nice way to bring our minds elsewhere, and it's really meditative and therapeutic.
What stress have you been feeling lately?
Work stress, stress around change and constant change, and stress around the unknown and uncertainty, and then stress around making sure like my family and people at work have the support that they need to help them through the change and transition.
How did the sessions make you feel?
I felt lighter, and it took my mind off of my daily worries and just things I had to do. I didn't know what time it was. I lost track of time. The brush strokes and just mixing the paint, it was therapeutic and it just felt good.
What benefits do you think painting had?
It for our particular experience, I would say the one that comes to mind is bringing our family together, and we all enjoyed it. We were all kind of partaking a part of something that we all interpreted it a little differently, so that was really neat. So we had a shared experience, and then also kind of like, wow, I can learn something new. But it's all about interpretation and just feeling. So that's kind of what I've learned for the most part.
Do you think it's more of a temporary stress reliever, or do you think it can help long term?
I think it has short term and long term. I think short term in the sense of it could kind of take you somewhere get your mind off of something pretty quickly. And I think long term, I think obviously when you're stressed, it's not good for your body. And so the more you're able to reduce stress, then if you do it more consistently, then I think there are long-term benefits.
Do you recommend art therapy for others?
I do. And I think art can be in a lot of different forms. It doesn't always have to be painting. It could be music, or it could be, it's creative arts. And so I would absolutely recommend it.
Hi, my name is Angie Kwong. I'm 43 years old and I am Juliana's mom.
Hi, my name's Alyssa Kwong. I'm 21 years old and I'm Juliana's aunt/sister/best friend.
I'm Alejandro Bacava. I'm 24 years old and I'm Alyssa's boyfriend and Juliana's friend.
Okay. How experienced in art do you feel?
Well, from a scale of 0 to 10, 0. I'm not a very creative person and I wouldn't even know where to begin. So I'm not experienced at all.
Same here. I don't say I'm an artistic person. I don't paint or draw for fun. I do admire people who do and I think it's fun, but I just don't usually do that in my free time, so I'd say it's probably a 0 or 1 at best.
I'd say I'm pretty experienced. I took multiple classes in junior high and high school, so probably around the 8 to 9 range.
Wow.
What stress have you been feeling lately?
Well, a lot of stress lately because of COVID, shelter in place. Now that we all have to stay in one house, there's like 5 people there. I work full time as a head of internal audit at a software company, and so I work full time. I am a mother to 3 kids and also taking care of my husband and dog. And so I'm wearing a lot of different hats, and there's also other aspects to why I'm stressed, but Alyssa could tell you more about that. During her turn, is that there's some health issues in my family, and so that definitely elevates my stress level. So I feel like stress is coming at me at all different angles.
So for me, similar to Angie, there's all different types of stress coming at us, and I'm sure it applies to everybody. Not only losing my job when the shelter in place came, just being at home all the time, not being able to go out with friends and experience the summer that we all were hoping to. And also recently I just got diagnosed with a rare autoimmune disease called neuromyelitis optica. So that's also something that I've had to deal with at a young age, and kind of a shocker. Within a month of my diagnosis, I've already gone through like so many treatments, and I went to the hospital like maybe every other day. So that is also a source to these two stress, because it's just hard for anybody, it's hard to watch their loved ones have to go through something so hard. So I definitely have felt all ranges of stress, and the timing of it is kind of crazy because it's almost like I wish the shelter in place wasn't happening, but then again, at this time, I would be missing out on so much if the world wasn't on pause. So it's kind of, gotta look at the silver lining, and definitely now it's a lot better now, so my stress is a little less than before.
Yeah, definitely stress is a big part right now because everyone's going through their own problems, losing their jobs, not being able to go outside and do what you want to do. You're all cooped up and, at the house. it can be stressful for anybody in different ways. For me, it's having to help Alyssa and go through the whole thing, and it's a stressful thing to make sure that she's okay. The whole process of going here and there and just making sure she's okay, and then also not being able to do stuff during the COVID because it's a shelter in place. You can't go out and eat with your friends, with family, and yeah, very stressful.
Last question. Do you think this session will help you with any stress or anxiety you've been feeling?
Well, I think that the thought of painting causes a little bit of stress and anxiety because I've never done it, and so I'm a little anxious as far as like, am I going to be good at it? But I think that it might just help take my mind off things for a few hours, and maybe there's a creative side to me that I never knew existed, and so I'm excited, and yet I feel a little bit of anxiety just because I haven't painted before.
For me, I was always skeptical about doing things like art and meditation and all that stuff for relaxation purposes. For me, I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like things are always in the back of your mind, but I definitely won't deny that painting for a couple hours will help occupy your mind for a little bit. So that for that frame of moment, I think it'll help, but I think everything will come back after.
Like Angie said, yeah, it's kind of something new. I've never done an art like this in a sense. I've always done my own type of thing on my own time. So this is having to follow instructions from a professional. So maybe a little stress there, with not sure what to do and not what to look forward to. So yeah.
Kitty.
If this doesn't work, this sure will.
Oh no!
Stress reliever.
Don't do that. Oh, by the way.
Yeah, soon enough.
This is Dewey. Hello.
Wait.
How did the session make you feel?
At first it was a bit stressful because we had to, first of all, think about the technology aspects. It wasn't just, painting. We had to coordinate with our instructor via Zoom, and then we had to figure out we can only have one iPad on, and it was causing all this technology issues. And so, but after we vetted those issues out, I would say that I did feel different. Like my first brushstroke was a bit liberating for me because I'm a very organized, systematic person, and it was the first time where I can just take paint and put that on a perfectly white canvas, which kind of goes against who I am. And so when I put the paint on there, I was like, wow, I felt like a little bit liberated. I do feel like it was the first time I actually spent time doing something creative that wasn't taking care of somebody, that wasn't working. I exercise, but that's also because I want to be healthy. I was painting just to paint, and it was relaxing towards the end, I would say. Also when I started letting go and not having to do things exactly like the instructor told us to do, right?
Yeah, I feel pretty similar with Angie. I felt pretty stressed in the beginning, and I guess kind of getting started. You see a blank canvas and you see what the end result is supposed to be like. It's almost like you're oh man, I gotta do this right, or else it's not gonna turn out looking good. And so I guess there's a stressful part of that, but once you kind of let go of that and accept that however it comes out, it's just gonna be that way, kind of like in life, however life turns out to be, you're just gonna have to deal with it. It's not gonna be perfect, just like how the end result's supposed to be, you kind of have a better time and you start to relax more, because then you're kind of like, oh, okay. And then, like she said, you don't have to follow everything that the instructor says. So then you start to kind of let go and start enjoying it more. You get to create your own piece and kind of put yourself on the canvas instead. And it's fun to see the end results, because you kind of see everyone's personality through each of the paintings, and how it differs. One may be a little more free and one's like huge, or one's, you know, more meticulous. You can kind of see everyone's personality and so I thought it was relaxing maybe towards the last few sessions, and definitely also stressful. But I think maybe if you were to paint on your own and on your own time and on your own terms, it'd be a little more relaxing. But overall, I think it was still a fun experience.
Yeah, I'd say it was very relaxing, but it was also very stressful, just because of the same opinions they had with the technology. Also, the expectation of seeing, you know, an artist's picture compared to, you know, seeing a blank canvas, and, you know, just having that it's gonna look like that or similar to that, and then having the stress of make sure, you know, you don't mess up, or if you do mess up, it's kind of hard to go back and erase it. It is a paint, so that is a little more stressful, but it was very relieving at the same time, because you're kind of having fun. It's not, you know, nothing serious, and it's relaxing to, you know, be around, you know, friends and family, and yeah.
Would you want to continue this in the future?
Ideally, I would like to do so, but I have a feeling that it would kind of fall on the lower priority, since I have so much going on. And I do think that it would be very different to paint like on my own, and I am curious to see if I would enjoy doing that, and perhaps it becomes less of a competition, because it felt like that, painting with Alex and Alyssa and Juliana. We would always look at each other like, whose painting's better? And so, but I think that it needs to be an environment that you could really feel free to express yourself and really not have any expectations, and whatever the outcome is, that is something you created and you can be proud of. And so I hope that it is in my future, but I cannot promise, because I have this huge list of things to do. So maybe if Juliana promises to help me with more chores, then I would have more time. How about that?
For me, realistically, I would probably say yes, but I probably wouldn't end up doing it, especially once all the shelter in place, you know, ends, kind of life goes back to normal. I think, like Angie said, it would be in the back of my mind, but realistically, it wouldn't be a priority. I would probably do it once in a while. But I actually personally, I do like to do things like that, or like go to paint pottery and stuff like that. So I think this would be more of kind of a, you know, every 3 months type of thing, kind of just a fun activity to do with friends and family. But as for more scheduled sessions like this, I think it's a little hard to keep up with. But I definitely wouldn't deny saying that I didn't enjoy it or anything like that.
Yeah, I'd say probably not the exact same thing, just because it's, you know, it can only be so much, it's only so much different, you know, just different pictures. But like she was referring to, like pottery painting, you can actually sculpt stuff. It's anything in the art family category, whatever you want to call it, would be, I think, fun, and would definitely want to continue doing.
In conclusion, art therapy is a cheap, natural, and effective method of treatment for stress and depression. It is proven to have long-term benefits on your mind and body. As the interviews show, guided art therapy may not always be the best method for relaxation, but that doesn't mean there aren't other ways, such as painting a watercolor of your bodily state, mold something out of clay or Play-Doh, create a collage, or just color in a coloring book. Keep in mind, the interviews and art therapy sessions could have been impacted by the COVID-19 situation. 99% of our stress around the sessions were because of the problems with technology and Zoom. If it weren't for the shelter in place, we could have been with the painting instructor face-to-face, and she could have offered us more guidance, while we also wouldn't have to deal with Zoom. Art therapy could also be more effective when you paint on your own time, in your own headspace, because there's always the pressure when it comes to whose painting is better, or who paints the fastest. Instead of comparing your art to others, you should be happy with what you accomplished. I personally can account for that because I spend a lot of my time painting by myself, and I find it therapeutic. When there aren't other people around, I can just be alone in my room and it's quiet and peaceful. Sometimes I play music and I can take my own time painting my own way. That might have been the problem with our guided art sessions, that we weren't able to choose what we wanted to paint, but on my own I'm able to choose anything at all. Art therapy is used as a way of releasing your anxiety by expressing yourself, and I strongly recommend you try it, even if you aren't feeling particularly stressed or sad, because you might find you enjoy art just as much as I do. It's never bad to try new things once in a while. Thank you for watching my documentary, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Aunt slash sister slash best friend.
And I'm Alejandro Rubalcava. I'm Alyssa's girlfriend. Juliana's friend.
I have mine. This is Alex. He's falling overboard because I have to keep him off the boat.
Is that how it
He
is?
was not a good shipmate.
Okay, can't move.
I always say,